Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our fifth annual Big Give. Just as a reminder, our aim for today is to raise $50,000 to support our Ladder Learning Network. And our theme is Duke 15Q syndrome does not come with a manual, but it comes with a family that never gives up. And speaking of someone who never gives up, I'm honored to be here this morning with our guest, Jen Estvold. She is proud mama to a bunch of kids. In particular, her daughter Brooke, who has Duke 15Q syndrome, is 8 years old. Right? So she's 8 years old. Okay, so welcome, Jen. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's talk G-tubes. It's kind of not new to you, newer to me, but that is something that we have discussed in great detail, FaceTimed, sent pictures with. So can you just maybe start with how did your G-tube journey start with Brooke?
For Brooke, we got her G-tube when she was just shy of 2 years old. So she started having seizures when she was about 9 months old. So we did the oral medications up until she was about a year and a half. She was starting to refuse the meds. They were tricky. They had some capsules you had to open up, little sprinkles. We're hiding it in food. The liquids taste bad. She was pocketing them. And then she spit them out. And then you don't know, okay, did she get her meds? How bad are her seizures going to get today? So that was one battle. And then the other battle is we were hiding these meds and these foods. Well, then she didn't want to eat anymore because she caught on quick. She's like, there's something in here. They taste gross. So then she wasn't eating much either. And that started to really get everyone concerned. She already was small for her size or age. So doctor was pretty on top of it too. And she kind of joked about it at first. And then we were going to a trip to Mayo and we were on the road and she wasn't taking her food. She wasn't taking her meds. And I called the doctor. I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, this can't go on. This is, and she said, let's go for a G-tube. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is this? Like never, I heard about it. I didn't know how intensive it was. In my back of my mind, I'm thinking like a port, something you're in the doctor every week kind of thing. And, like a wound constantly. And we went and saw a consult with our surgeon and they explained it, showed us a little doll with one put in the stomach. I'm like, oh, okay, this is not as intense as it sounds, because all of us, nobody knows what it's like. No one's had to deal with it before. So we got that put in when she's about 2 years old. And it's a learning process. We had all the same questions as every parent that kind of gets to that point has. The first few weeks, you're kind of wondering, am I doing this right? How is this looking? And just all the questions that everyone asks. And once we started asking the other parents on the Facebook group, have you guys dealt with the G-tube before? Anyone else dealing with this? We started realizing there's quite a few kids with Duke 15Q syndrome that have either probably could use one or have had one or had experience. So obviously you go to the parents that have been doing it and you start asking questions. And we started realizing that there were quite a few of us. So I thought, well, let's just start a little side page off of the main family group. So we're not clogging up questions of people that aren't dealing with it. And then it's an easy way where people can ask questions. So, all the members have it or thinking about it. Been there, done that kind of thing. And can just ask questions and search for it easily. That was the other thing too, is sometimes it's hard to search on a bigger page for a topic and you don't see all of them in order or something recent and you missed it. You're like, God, I knew someone was talking about that. But so I thought, well, just start a side page. And then if the parents that have had one or just thinking about getting one can go to and ask questions, and there's someone there that's probably dealt with it. So that's what we decided to start up.
Jen, you did start that group, correct?
Yeah.
Remind us the name of it again.
I think I have it down as Duke 15Q tubies.
Yeah.
Tubies. Yeah. It's
kind
of a name they give the G-tube kids, or tubies. So
yeah. And I'm sitting here today and I've learned a lot of lessons on this journey myself, having a son with Duke 15q syndrome who's now 16, Brendan. Never say never or always, because if you told me years ago that Brendan would have a G tube, I just wouldn't have believed you.
Mhm. Yeah.
So thanks to that group and to you and everybody else, we had a similar situation in which during COVID, which I don't even know when that is anymore, but he did the same thing. He is on 5 different seizure meds. He started pocketing. He wasn't getting his meds. We had seizure increase. He lost 20 pounds. And, one thing that I don't know if you had this discussion, but when we went to speak with our GI about it, we had a really long discussion about quality of life and more long term, because I was sitting with Brendan anywhere from 1 to 3 hours a day trying to get him, to eat this food with the meds, and he was literally withering away. But that was one important discussion we had with Brendan's GI, who actually spoke at conference. His name is Dr. Bass. He's out of Chicago here. The quality of life, like for anyone, for me to sit at a table with him, for that amount of time, and as he grows older and into adulthood, the expectations of somebody else sitting with him for that amount of time is not very realistic. So that went into a big decision for us. Is there anything that stood out with you guys with making that decision, Brooke, getting that moving
When we
forward?
were kind of, she was still only 2 years old. So, I mean, you couldn't
Right.
level with her and be like, let's take this. She wasn't understanding, obviously why we had to take this medicine and things like that. But at that point, we were just like, we need to do something. Like,
Yeah.
this is, you feel, I think almost any parent that's we've gotten into the group and talked about, you feel like that sense of failure. You're like, why
Yes.
didn't, what did we do wrong? Why is this happening?
Yes.
And you're like, we should be able to fix this. Everyone wants to be able to fix it. But once you get it and you realize, you're like, oh my God, this is an easy button, like pun intended. I mean, once you've gotten through that first week or two of soreness and stuff, you're like, God, I don't know if there's a family that hasn't said, God, I wish you would have done this sooner, or, have any regrets. I mean, there's little complications that arise, but overall, the quality of life, like you said, you're not making them take. I think for the majority of our kids that have these G tubes usually have seizure meds. So, and that's one of the big things that cause them to quit eating so much. But just that relief that they're getting their meds in. Yes. They can still eat their foods by mouth. That's a huge thing. A lot of parents are like, I don't want to, they're going to be eating by, port to their whole life. Like, no. You eat whatever you want by mouth. Try to get as much in as they can orally. You never want to take that away from them. But give them the meds in that tube so they don't have to taste that stuff. Like that's, make food fun again is the biggest thing. And if they aren't eating well enough or they're sick or something, then get it in the tube that way. So they're getting their calories. Our kids lose weight so easily and it's hard to get it back on them again. And, you deal with an illness, my gosh, just the fluids alone. I mean, we haven't had to go into an ER, knock on wood, because we've been able to get her on a drip. Even, like with stomach flu, you can set a pump down to, a 0.5 ml an hour if you had to. But I mean, you can sneak it in slow enough that they can stay hydrated, almost like an IV. And they're not going into an ER on a Sunday night or something. It's just that peace of mind, that knowing that you can give them the life that they deserve. And you don't have to sit there and worry about, did we get their meds in today? Are their seizures going to be bad tonight? I hope they didn't split it out. It's just easier for everyone. So, and it's not for everybody. I mean, if people are taking their meds, great, and they're eating well, that's awesome. But it's just a relief that there's even this option to have it. Like,
I agree.
50 years ago, what did we do? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, I hate this sounds so cliche, but knowledge is power. And I feel like the more information we have with whatever we're going through, because I feel like we all go through these stages depending on how old our son or daughter is with Duke 15q syndrome. And just so I just want to put this out there. If anybody is struggling or going through, what I did with Brendan, very similar to what, was happening with Brooke, the pocketing the food, losing more weight, just reach out to us and we'd be happy to share our journey. Because like you said, there are more and more families in our community who are making that decision. And I too couldn't believe of how many, I hate to use this word, but added perks there are involved with the G-tube. Like if they're sick, I just put Pedialyte in there. If, even if it's a day where I'm like, ooh, he didn't get enough calories today and he's not sick, but I want him to have energy. Maybe he has an after school program that I can supplement. But our personal goal for Brendan is for him to still enjoy food. Because one big thing with us with our family is going out to restaurants. Like that's really important to us as a family. It might not be for everybody, but, and actually I have two girls who are teenagers now. And my one daughter now knows how to use the G-tube, and my other daughter, she's home from college, we're teaching her. So it is something that you can learn, and YouTube is out there. You can learn anything on there. And of course, you are a huge resource, Jen, to our community. And thank you so much for starting that. Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't have any knowledge of it either. I'm not a doctor either, but just have been through it for 5 years. And I've, dabbled in the other groups. There's larger groups on Facebook with like blended diets, stuff like that. So there's other Facebook groups out there too. And that's where I picked up a lot of the hacks and things like that I might have thrown at you guys too, about you can kind of tweak the bag a little bit to make it flow easier and get thicker stuff to go through and things like that. I mean, it's just more information for more parents, because you're not going to be able to get a hold of a doctor sometimes on a Saturday night and be like, my tube is clogged, or why is this beeping, or why is this, alarm going off and it didn't before, like, oh, your settings got bumped. So it's just someone that's available. You got parents, 50, some, I don't know how many are in our group now, but someone will answer pretty quickly. I mean, someone's been there, done that. And that's the biggest thing. Sure. Some of the doctors haven't had experience, they're not gonna be able to answer, why is my pump beeping at me, and things like that. Like, someone that's gone through it 24 hours a day, day in and day out, they're the ones that will be able to have the answers for you and be like, yeah, go get that checked out, or, oh, you're okay, we've used this cream, this will get you by till Monday, or stuff like that. So it's just nice having that 30, 50 sets of eyes on there to be like, yeah, looks normal, but check it out on Monday.
Such peace of mind. I can't tell you how many pictures have I sent you, Jen, to say, can you, I don't think you sent me a bill yet, by the way.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate the importance of, we are just such a community that comes together, supports each other. If you have any questions, regarding the actual G-tube, the mechanics of it, or even the emotional component that goes into making this decision, the Facebook group is available. You can reach out to us or email me at outreach@duke15q.org. Thanks, Jen. You're a fabulous resource to many of us, and we're so grateful to have you with us today.
Well, I'm glad to be here too. Good to see you again.
Okay, and please stay tuned and join us for more topic discussions and lots of research today. And again, as a reminder, we are looking to, our goal is $50,000 today, and hopefully we will reach that. So thanks so much for joining us, Jen. Take care.
You.
Okay, bye.